lesson posted on Google Classroom, and I have the answer key posted along with it. I just wanted to, and last week I posted a video from YouTube that went over this also, but I just want to go over it again. So I'm going to actually just skip over the do now for right now. Okay, so trinomial, when we have the word or the prefix, tri, T-R-I, that means 3. So trinomials have, you guessed it, 3 pieces. Okay, so that's right here. Okay, so let's look at the first example. So x squared minus 2x minus 24. So when we want to factor something that looks like this, what we're doing is we're trying to find two numbers that are going to add to our middle term and multiply to our last term. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is list all of your factors of 24. Okay, so now if you have a graphing calculator, or you can also use one of the apps that I sent you, websites that I sent you that have the free graphing calculator. I'll talk about how you can do the factors in a minute using that. So our factors of 24 are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, and then 4 and 6, okay? So now what we're doing is we want to pick the pair of factors that can somehow come together and make the -2 in the middle, okay? So if you look at your choices, 1 and 24, okay, there's no way I can make -2, so that's out. 2 and 12, there's no way I could add or subtract those to make -2. 3 and 8, I'm not going to work with that. So it's going to be 4 and 6, okay? So we're going to start off then, hang on one second. So we are going to, pick a different color. All right, so we're going to start off by doing our double bubble, okay? And in the front of each bubble, you're going to put x because of that x squared. And now right now, we're just going to put our numbers in, so the 4 and the 6. We're going to worry about the signs in 1 second. So first, always just start off by putting your numbers in there. That's a 6, not a B. I know it looks like a B. I'll fix that. Hang on. Okay, so that's a 6. All right. So you have 4 options of how the signs could go. So you could have +4 plus 6. You could have +4 minus 6. You could have -4 plus 6. And then you could have -4 minus 6. Okay, so just using your calculator, you can go through each one of these pairs, these choices, and see, okay, well, which combination with the signs makes a -2? So +4 plus 6 gives me +10. +4 minus 6 gives me -2. -4 plus 6 gives me +2. And -4 minus 6 gives me -10. So our goal was to get -2 in the middle. So if you look, that's this guy right here. So our signs then are going to be +4 and -6. Okay, so that it's now in factored form. So this right here, hang on. This right here is your answer, okay? Just like that, all right? Now, if you were to distribute that out, you would see that you would end up with the original problem. Now, as far as getting the factors using the calculator, so what you would want to do is you would go into the, hang on one second, you would go into the y equals. I don't have a calculator up on this screen right now. Actually, I'm trying to figure out how to move the screen without, hang on one second. Okay. So you would go, I'm just going to write it up here. You would go into your y equals, and you would type in 24 divided by x, and then you would go into the table of values, which is just second graph. And what you would do is you wouldn't look at any of the negatives, you would start at 1, And you would look for every pair that's a nice whole number where you have an integer. Any decimals you would not use, you would ignore those. And then once you start seeing the numbers in the table start to repeat themselves. So what I mean by that, so let's say I was looking at 24 in my table, I would get the 1 and 24, the 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. 5 doesn't go into 24 evenly. And then after that, I would get 6 and 4. But 6 and 4 is just a repeat of 4 and 6. So that's how you know to stop, because now they're just flipping. Okay, so that's how you can get the factors of the number if you, don't want to do it in your head, or just doing it, by dividing using the calculator. Okay, all right, so let me erase a little bit of this and we'll move on to question number 2. Okay, I can figure out how to move the screen. That would be helpful. Hang on one second. Okay, all right, so x squared plus 2x minus 35. So again, we always start off the same way. We want to get our factors of 35. So over here, I'm going to list my factors of 35. So again, you can use your calculator. You can use the table for this. So our factors are 1 and 35 and 5 and 7. Okay. So I'm looking for the pair of factors right now that can somehow come together, whether it being with addition or subtraction, that will make the 2 in the middle. Because remember that when we're factoring like this, we're looking for numbers that add to the middle term and multiply to the last term. So it's definitely not 1 and 35, so it's 5 and 7, okay? So I'm going to do my double bubble. So we've got x and x in the front of each bubble. And then I'm going to put my 5 and my 7 in. And now I'm going to figure out the signs. So we're going to do the same thing we did in that last problem. We're going to look at our 4 options of what the signs could be. So it could be plus 5 plus 7. It could be plus 5, minus 7. It could be negative 5 plus 7 and negative 5 minus 7. So positive 5 plus 7 gives us a positive 12. Positive 5 minus 7 gives us a negative 2. Negative 5 plus 7 gives us a positive 2. And negative 5 minus 7 gives us a negative 12. Okay, so we wanted it to be positive 2, so here, ding, 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 is our winner. So I'm going to put the negative with the 5 and the positive with the 7. Okay, so this right here is our answer. One other thing I just wanted to mention before I forget is that you can also, let's say you had written the answer like this. You wrote x plus 7 and then x minus 5. So that's okay, because we have the commutative property, which means that the order doesn't matter. So if you had listed the x plus 7 first and then the x minus 5, it doesn't make a difference. It's the same answer. It's still correct. So I just wanted to clarify that. Okay. All right. So now let's try the next one. All right. So with this one, we have the x squared minus x minus 6. Now, I want everybody to start off by putting their invisible 1 in front of the x, okay? So right now we're looking for 2 numbers then that will, hang on one second, just make a little bit of room, that will add to the negative 1 in the middle and multiply to the negative 6 at the end. So our factors of 6 are 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Okay, so the pair that will somehow come together to make the negative 1 is going to be the 2 and 3. Okay, so we've got our double bubble, x and x, 2 and 3. And now we're going to just figure out our signs again. So we've got plus 2 plus 3. Plus 2 minus 3, minus 2 plus 3, minus 2 minus 3. Okay, we're just going to see what each one of these guys equals. So positive 2 plus 3 is positive 5. Positive 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Negative 2 plus 3 is positive 1. And negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. So we were looking for negative 1, so that's going to be plus 2 and minus 3. Okay? Ta-da! Our answer. Okay? All right, so... sorry, guys, I'm still trying to figure out how to make this work, and not very successfully. Hang on one second. Okay, that is not working. Oh, I think I got it. Okay. All right, so then the other thing I just wanted to show you was right here on the bottom of the worksheet. I have what I mentioned before as far as the going into the table of values. So right down here, this guy right here is the steps just to, you go into y equals, you put in whatever the last term is divided by x, and then you go into the table of values and you get your factors from there. Okay? All right, so if we go to the next page. All right, so I just have some examples here on the next couple of pages. So I have the answer key up on Google Classroom for you. There's just a couple on page 3 that I want to go over with you. So right now I'm just going to look at question 13. Now the only reason I want to talk about this is because now we have an x to the 4th. That doesn't actually change the problem at all. So what you were seeing before, what you had been seeing was like on question 12, the x squared, and then the middle term, the b term has the x, okay? So now if you look at 13, now the first term is x to the 4th, and the middle term is x squared. That's fine. The process to do this is exactly the same. So we're going to start off the same way. I'm going to list my factors of 5, which are just 1 and 5, because 5 is a prime number, and do our double bubble. And then the only thing that's different is now in the front of each bubble, I'm putting x squared, okay, instead of putting just x. I put my numbers in, 1 and 5, and in this case, if I want it to be a positive 6 in the middle, these are going to both get plus. Okay, so I just wanted you to keep in mind when you see examples like that, it's the same process. Don't get freaked out. Okay, so that was more practice with factoring trinomials. So I have the rest of the answer key is up on Google Classroom. If you have any questions on any of the problems, please email me or send me a remind or put up a smoke signal, whatever. All right. Hope everybody's doing well, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.